What it do, H-Gang? It's your boy Biff with a video talking about games you have assuredly already played or heard about. This time with a bunch of games I played this year. That's right, games I played this year. It's not the ones just that were released this year, because then there'd be like one game on the list. These aren't in any particular order, so let's just jump into it. I gotta switch the series, so I won't beat around the bush and just put all the three of the fantastic Nintendo exclusives that I played this year on the list. Even to this day, with over 3 hours in each game, I still go back and forth between whether I like Super Mario Odyssey or Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild more. Both games are phenomenal and have a little something for everyone, featuring highly explorable worlds. There's stuff full of shit to do, whether you want to futilely try for 30 minutes to try and ride a moose, or fail a scene speedrun jump over and over again, before you just give up on the run and begin to hate yourself a little bit more. Nintendo has hooked up the consumer with the opportunity to do both of these examples and many more. These games have really great ways to spend your time in an effective, fun, and efficient manner, which easily explains as of why I have a massive culmination of hours in both games. Ultimate Fuckman is a well-designed fighting game that features characters from a plethora of franchises. Seeing Captain Jack Sparrow eviscerate the fuck out of Big the Cat is definitely a sight to see, but I think Nintendo goes a little over the top with the extreme violence. They have like little red Lego pieces squirting everywhere. I don't know why Big the Cat's insides are made of Legos, but that's just how it wound up being. And to be honest, I think it's a little extreme. Back to the fantastic game design. The adventure mode in this game isn't actually bad, and I enjoyed it a fair bit for the most part. The spirit system is an interesting take on progression in a fighting game, and coming up with the best combination of spirits is pretty fun. The rock, paper, scissors aspect forces the player to switch it up a bit instead of just running full fire damage Olimar the entire game. That being said, most of the spirits are just some dumb dogshit gimmicks like start with 30% damage. Like, what the fuck? This shit is like giving someone that already has polio and is clearly not having a great time a shit ton of heroin. The opioid overdose isn't helping them out at all. The culmination of this game's fantastic design can be found in online play. I feel like most players don't know they need a break from tournament rules until they are forcibly given one. That is the only possible excuse I can find as to why Smash Ultimate is the only game where 4 separate players that queued for tournament style 1v1 are stuck in a 2v2 on stamina with items and only moving stages. The removal of a mode like For Glory makes a player appreciate this game for what it's meant to be, which is a cool party game that doesn't require any skill or mechanics at all. Put me in the ring with Zero and my Kirby and a Pokeball, and I'll win every fucking time, that's all I'm saying. Also, the lightning fast speed I get in every match is phenomenal and is completely free from input and server lag. For real though, Nintendo, if you're gonna have a matchmaking system worse than that for Halo 2, which came out over 14 years ago, then you should at least minimize the lag in the type of game where lag is the most destructive to the gameplay. Why is the game fantastic in every way except this, Miyamoto? What the fuck? Literally hire a meth head off the street, give him 2 hours, and he'll make a better online system than you did in the 9 months in between teasing the game and releasing it. It's pretty audacious to make people pay for this online service, as in its current state, I would still be disappointed even if you're paying me to play it. I played Arkham City for the first time this year, and it was an interesting experience. What I expected was Shadow of Mordor, but as Batman, and that plus a little is what I got. My favorite part of the game was slamming my face into a wall over and over again until I managed to kill all the guys without getting fucked by some bitch with an AK. Overall, a pretty good game, other than the fact that there is seemingly no good reason to have Catwoman in the game at all, other than to save Batman that one time towards the end. Sorry about the spoiler. Having her as a large portion of the game's story is like carrying around a fucking apple slicer in your pocket. Sure, it's useful in the one scenario where it does anything, but it isn't really worth the hassle of carrying it around all the fucking time just so you can eat your snack in little chunks instead of like a real functioning human, you fucking troglodyte. Next game. Kingdom Hearts 2 was my first real gaming experience where I really felt immersed and completely into it, so I decided to go back and play Kingdom Hearts 1 this year, and can confidently say that it's ass. It has not aged well. You should not go back and play it. Do yourself a favor and just don't. Sucks ass, to be honest. This was clearly designed before people tried playing the games they made, so they didn't quite get down that the controls would probably work a lot better on a fucking tennis ball. In addition to the controls being complete fucking bullshit, there are a bunch of dumbass retarded fucking anime tropes that made the already convoluted story even more awful. I decided that it had been too long since I had last shit myself, so I picked up Prey, hoping to be overtaken by the soft, warm embrace of a log in my $15 Walmart camouflage cargo shorts. This didn't quite exactly happen, as I was wearing fluorescent yellow gym shorts when I first booted up the game, but I shit myself within 10 minutes of starting this immersive experience, and anyone who wasn't stricken with color blindness within 200 meters could tell. I've been told it stood out like a beacon in the pitch black sky, leading lost sailors back home to their families so they could finally feel the warm embrace of the fucking bottle as they realized they had lost everything. I couldn't actually tell though, so I'm just gonna go off the word of a friend. Anyway, I framed those masterwork trousers as a trophy of the first time I truly experienced a game that knows how to fuck with you. Though it was kinda scary, I had to shut the game off at this part. And the game also knows how to force progression and keep the player in a sense of fear and claustrophobia using different areas of the station and introduction of more fuckers throughout them. Holy dick, what the fuck is that? Looks like a fucking mosquito got roided up and then smashed across a fucking brick wall. Jesus Christ. And finally, the bane of the entirety of my free time, Guild Wars 2. In my opinion, this is the best MMO, and is one of the few games that knows how to truly utilize an open world for player freedom. As a player, you feel like you have almost complete freedom with infinite options because of how the class and ability system works. Each class can be played a minimum of 3 ways, one of which usually being a support playstyle, and the combat abilities you have are decided by which weapon you have equipped. There are a shit ton of weapons, and they have different abilities based on the class you are playing. The combat is active and interactive, allowing for crazy fucking combos like this shit. The leveling phase of the game is literally the player exploring and interacting with the vast open world, which pushes the game further towards the idea of complete freedom. During this phase, you feel like the game is massive. Then you hit level 80. Hitting level 80 and having all the new options available to you is like leaving your room for the first time in 8 years and realizing that the sun is the reason inexplicable lights wake you up at 3 p.m. every day. Blinded by the sheer mass of the endgame, you stumble blindly over to the inexplicable white van parked on the corner. The man invites you in and you blindly comply, as you've not left your room in 8 years and clearly have not developed social skills. That man, the one that diddled you, he's structured PvP, specifically Conquest. In my opinion, this is definitely the worst of the endgame options of things to get into, purely because it is awful to deal with. This mode is never balanced at all, as the devs tend to focus more upon balancing with raids or world v world in mind, which makes sense as the premise of those modes is defaultly more interesting than the bland TF2 options available in structured PvP. All the different game modes originated in Team Fortress, however the ones they used for this mode was clearly taken from some shitty mobile League of Legends clone, and it really shows. The other options just have so much more promise and wonder that they almost make me forget about my crippling social anxiety. However, this mode, due to its toxicity and feeling that I cannot do fucking anything unless I'm a warrior, makes me want to take a swan dive out of a helicopter into a volcano. Raids allow for a mechanically difficult cooperative experience in which your Weaver DPS is guaranteed to carry every time, especially when he says he's a god. That guy, he is truly a legend, one of the top players of all time. That is the kind of player you want to surround yourself with. as he will truly guide you to the top as you become one of the elites of the game. World vs. World is a clusterfuck in the best way, as it is the only experience I've ever had in gaming where you can be minding your own business by yourself until you are abruptly gangbanged by well over 75 individual players. You could always be a mindless sheep and join the horde, but getting skull-fucked is much more my style. For you story freaks, you can continue to follow your story quests and explore the world of both the base game and the expansions. This game has a little bit of something for everybody and doesn't have a concrete end. So if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go back to chipping away at this fucking Abra with my sand shrew. And there we have it. Those are the games I played this year. Do you expect anything else? Not quite sure why. See you fuckers later.